Hello, everybody. This is Dave Wood talking to you from my home out in the mountains in Costa Rica. Just wanted to first welcome everybody to the webinar. Now, this webinar is obviously for members of the 15K Formula product that we have here at Empower Network. This is going to be the start of a bonus series that we're going to be doing where I don't know if it's going to be every week or every other week, but for the next little while, we're going to be putting back at least twice a month bonus tradings from the leaders and what the leaders are doing to produce results here. Really just to show you guys that this product is not just worth $1,000, it's worth 10. It already is, but the information today is worth $1,000. And so hopefully you guys are ready to take notes. This is a different strategy. It's probably not for everybody who's on the webinar because it's going to take some probably tenacity and a little bit of failure to really get good at it, like any good marketing strategy does. But I just want to real quick introduce the gentleman that I have on the call. But before I do that, I actually want to make you guys a promise. You know, I just recorded a sales video for the 15K Formula. And everybody here, even if you own it, you need to watch that video. It's going to be up. If somebody doesn't own the product and they click on the 15K Formula tab, it'll be up probably later today. But here's the promise that I've got for everybody on this call. I lay out a formula in that sales video where I teach you how to get from to $500 a day in income. I show you to get from there to $1,000 a day to $3,000 a day. And I make you a promise in that video that if you hit the numbers that I say, and that's not how much money you're making, then I'll pop on the phone with you and I'll help you. So I encourage everybody here to go watch that presentation because these strategies, what Chuck's going to go over today, which is how to get leads through magazine ads, it's a lead strategy. It's how to get more leads into your funnel. And if you get leads into your funnel, if you get the leads that I mentioned, the numbers that I mentioned in that call, I promise you guys you can make $15,000 a month minimum by following that formula. So real quick introduction before we get going here, Chuck Marshall. This is how I met Chuck actually. I was going through the leaderboards here at Empower of who's making the big money. And I saw this guy that I'd never talked to, that he'd been making money essentially since we started, and every month it seems like his income is doubling. And so even through our struggle, as his income was growing, just consistently growing every single month, just producing just every single day here at Empower Network. And you know, I gave him a call and I got him in an Inner Circle interview, and I like the Inner Circle because that's how I learn. You know, a lot of people say, Dave, you know, how do you keep a pulse of the market? Well, what I do is I call the leaders here at Empower and find out what they're doing, and I ask them questions and I drill them about it, and then I record those conversations and put them in the Inner Circle. It's probably one of the most valuable products that we've got. And I started asking him questions about how he builds his business, and what he told me, he said, I do magazine ads. And I said, what? Because for me, I don't know if anybody here has ever been a part of a $5,000 co-op where you got 4 leads before, but I have, you know? And so, you know, I said, you do what? And he's like, magazine ads. I was like, how, right? So he went into, for the last 7 years, he's been, you know, doing magazine ads to build his business. And I want you guys to put this in perspective. You know, last month, what did you make, Chuck? It was like $23,000. It was over 20. Do you know how much it was?
Yeah.
I told you, by the way, I told you it would be over 20 when it was like 9. Didn't I?
Yeah, well, you were saying it probably, you know, I was thinking it'd probably be 14, 15. You're like, no, it'll probably be like 17 to 20. And it was over that, so.
I don't know. You probably made money like this every month for years, but I mean, it'll go to 40 within the next 60 days if you just keep doing what you're doing. So he's making the big money. He's making more than $15,000 a month, which is our requirement for training in the series. And he's doing it here at Empower as an affiliate, let alone whatever the heck else he's doing. So today, we're going to teach you guys how to get leads through magazine ads. It's not a subject I'm an expert in. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, if you guys are not in the Facebook group, I imagine that you are, you need to get in this group here. We send out in the emails and follow the assignments we're putting in this group. Just stay plugged into what we're doing here at Empower Network. And that's part of the promise I outlined in the sales video. Get in the group. And so what we're going to do is, as we're going through this training, guys, be commenting in the Facebook group just what your thoughts are and what you're learning from Chuck. Obviously, don't give a link to the webinar because this is for people who've spent $1,000 on this product. So, you know, don't give away this link. But just share what your thoughts are and what you're learning from Chuck Marshall, the webinar in the group, just as we're going through, and make a little bit of a fuss about it and just tell us what you think. So, Chuck, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. This is not a structured presentation. This is free flow. We're going to take some Q&A from good questions. And so the goal is how to get leads through magazine ads. Chuck, you should get a little notification that says, do you want the screen? Just hit yes on that.
Okay.
Then you'll grab the screen from me here.
Okay.
Should get it now.
Let's see here.
It might take a minute.
Okay, there we go. All right, took a little second there. Okay. All right, hey guys. Well, I'm Chuck Marshall, just like David Wood said, and what I wanted to do is just give you a little bit of intro about myself and kind of where I've come from in this industry. I've been working full time from home as a home-based business owner and network marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever you'd like to call this now, successfully for the past 6 years. And I say successfully because I spent about 4 years of trial and error before then, trying to really make it work. I tried a lot of the different stuff you see on TV, and I tried local MLMs with people invite me to a hotel meeting and little rah-rah group and stuff, and I would try to do those kind of things, but I struggled for 4 years spending money, losing money, getting my hopes up and down, trying to figure out really how to make it work. And when I finally was introduced to somebody who actually took the time to share with me how they were doing it, what it ended up being was I responded to an ad in a magazine myself. I responded to an ad. It was a small classified ad. I went to a presentation, I watched it, and I talked to the person who eventually became my mentor and friend and still is today. And what he had told me, he started sharing little tidbits with me how to actually build my business successfully, how to take a successful advertising vehicle and match it with a presentation system that does like the selling and telling, what I call the grunt work for you. And what he started telling me was like, well, Chuck, if you were going to create a product or something, let's say if you were going to start a new brand of cigarettes or something like that, he's like, what would be your target market? And I'm like, well, what do you I didn't understand what he was saying. He's like, well, you probably target people that currently smoke, right? People that go to the tobacco stores and whatever that product, that's where you were going to market your product, get them to switch your brand, And I said, okay. And he said, so where would you want to market where people are looking for home-based businesses or ways to make extra money from home, or where would you market to capture those folks? And I was like, well, I don't know. I was all over the internet somewhere. And he's like, well, yeah, you can do that. Because there's a ton of offline publications where people go to find out these types of opportunities and these different types of ways to make extra money from home, And so he started sharing with me how he markets offline, and it kind of obviously made sense because I responded to an offline ad. And for me, I started with a magazine ad, a small little 3-inch magazine ad, which you can see, if you can see on the screen right here, this website here is wolfenterprises.net, which is one of the brokers that I personally use to place ads, and there is like 15, 16 different magazines that you can actually advertise in. And I started small. This gentleman here, Randy Wolf, he sells small ad packages where you can place, 3 or 4 or 5 small ads for one price. He'll design the ad for you, which is nice, so you don't have to think of what it's going to look like. He'll do that for you. And what I did is I spent $300 and I placed a little 3-inch ad that went in the back of a magazine. It looks just like this here, if you can see this. It looked like one of these little ads you see right here. And it ran for 60 days. And in 60 days' time, at that time, I was promoting a big ticket top tier program, which is primarily what I've done for 6 years. And that's how I've made most of my money, is by promoting what they call like top tier big ticket programs. And I made 3 sales that were $3,895 each in 60 days, and my profit on each one of those sales was $3,000. So I actually had made $9,000 back off like a $300 ad. It cost me $38.95 to get into that business. So after 60 days, I'd made my money back, made my advertising money back, and made a profit. And then I started getting, with his guidance, I started getting into the bigger magazine ads, which have produced obviously a lot more results for me. And I'm going to show you what some of those look like here. Let's see here if I can. Now this is one of the ads. This is actually the ad that I'm currently using right now. This is the ad that leads to the funnel that I use to get people into Empower Network, and I have been getting people into Empower Network ever since it launched, or actually I should say ever since I got involved, which was the beginning of November back in 2011. This ad you see here, what I try to do is keep my ads short and sweet, because I don't try to sell people an ad. To me, that is a waste of time. There's so many ads I see that have got so much writing and so much nonsense here. Just really, it's a distraction. So what I like to do is go for the, I highlight a couple free things, free webinar, how I made X amount of money, and then I always highlight what this is not. Like there's no startup fees, no website fees, no da-da-da-da. And this goes into my funnel that I use that eventually brings people into Empower Network. And when people, what I offer people is free. I offer them a free way to make money from home and and everybody, so everybody is interested in that. Everybody's interested in learning how to make extra money from home without having to spend any money to do so. And so that's why no matter what magazine I run this ad in, I'm going to get people that respond. You know, I'm not, this isn't something that's for a high ticket program or an MLM, or we're selling a diet shake product or whatever. You know, I mean, it's a free way to earn an income from home. And I get a lot of people that respond to this, even though like people might think, you know, offline marketing might be a little archaic and old school, and maybe it is, you know, some of the stuff people do today, like mobile marketing and internet and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this might seem, you know, kind of old school or archaic, but it's very easy to duplicate. It's easy to teach people how to do, and it's there's not a lot of technical aspects to doing this stuff. It's very simple. You know, you create an ad, place it in a magazine, the leads flow in automatically. It's not something you have to babysit every day, you know, and the particular publications I run for 30 days or 60 days at a time, so I place one ad, and I get leads for 2 months. And they just come through my funnel. I show them how to make money for free, and then at the back end, I show them Empower Network, and that's how I've been able to earn the amount of money that I've been able to earn with Empower Network. It's simply using it as a back end upsell inside the free funnel that I send people to through advertising just like this. But I wanted to show you a couple other ad copies I've used over the years, just to kind of show you the progression. This is one that, this is my very first ad ever. I'm like going to be 31 in May. This is when I was like 24, 25. My first time my wife and I went to Hawaii. I took a picture, I placed an ad. This was back in, I think, 2006 when this ad was running. And you can see the format doesn't change much for me. You know, I keep it simple because it works. I've been doing this for 6 years this way, and I'm not saying my way is the only way. I'm not saying it's the best way, you know, but I wanted to come on here and show you how I've been doing it, and that it's easy to duplicate as well. So that way you can, if you want to take some pointers and do this, you can. But you can see I try to keep it short and sweet. You know, obviously I had to block out the domain names here, but see, I'll show you another one too. And this is one that has progressed after I had a pretty good year for me. That was one of my best years, or one of my better years when I first getting started. And you know, I always like to brand myself too, because I think that people are interested in, you know, not only are they going to be getting involved in a business, you know, they're going to be essentially buying you. So I always think it's best to brand yourself. And for some people, you know, listening right now, that might not be what you want to do. You know, but for me, I didn't really want to do this either. I mean, some people might think you're not that photogenic, or you don't want to put yourself out there. You don't have a fancy car or a big house or whatever. None of that stuff really matters. It's just so people can see that you are a real person, and that, you know, that you're not just some paid actor, you know, some extra, extra Photoshop picture or something like that. You know, you're a real person, and I wasn't too comfortable with this either. My wife certainly wasn't, you know, comfortable in the first having our pictures out there. But you know, brand yourself, let people know you're a real person, and that you're, you know, that it's better than not doing it. You know, and you might have to step outside your comfort zone a little bit to do that. But when you do that, that's when you start experiencing change, and usually change means growth. So I think that is definitely a good thing to do. And if you notice the content too, I mean, like I said, I keep it simple. Usually, telling people what it's not here. And if you guys are familiar with any of these programs, you can see how old this ad is. I've got, you know, probably 50 magazines in my drawer that from the years past that I just pulled out and scanned in here real quick. But I try to keep the content the same. This one's a similar version to the first one I showed you. And it can be interesting too when you see ad copy like this. Sometimes small changes can make a big difference. See, this is the same layout essentially. And I had this picture, you know, my wife standing next to one of my cars here for the longest time, and that converted really well for me for quite a while. But then when I moved over to showing more of like my family, you know, an updated picture of myself and family, that also helped increase some conversion as well, because like I said, people can see I'm a real person with a real family, a real life, not just a paid actor. But one of the ones that is one of my favorite ads here is a combination of the both. I really, you know, I like the colors here. You notice I always keep my colors like greens, blues, blacks. I thought I read somewhere sometime that blue was one of the most popular colors. They were the people like to see, or that attract people the most. So I try to keep that as like one of the basis of my colors. But again, just more family photos. One of the times we went to Hawaii here, and this is actually the day after I bought my wife her car, the Escalade here, which is why I still got the tag on it. But these kind of things, I just capture my life in real time and put it out there, and I share with people. And I think that's why I'm able to connect with the people that respond to these ads, because they, like I said, I don't. There's a ton of other stuff with these magazines too. You got to keep in mind, guys, that like these people are the leads to me are seem to be much more qualified than a lot of the internet type based leads, because when they go buy these magazines or they get them in the mail or whatever it is, usually they get them because they pay for a subscription, or they go to the drugstore or the airport or wherever. They pick these magazines off the racks, and they sort through all the stuff that's there, and if they pick your ad out of the one that's there, and then they respond to it, and they go through your funnel, that's like a pretty qualified prospect. Whether you're doing something that costs a lot of money or free or whatever you're promoting, that's a pretty qualified prospect. And then when they go through the funnel, then obviously they go to a squeeze page and they opt in and they get autoresponder messages, and sometimes they need to see something. I guess the average, would be like 5 to 7 times, or maybe a little bit more, before they actually respond on it, because there's a little bit of a warm-up period. Sometimes people get excited and jump the same day they see it, but a lot of the times they need to be they need to see it a few times before they act on it. But again, I always like branding myself. Again, if this is something that's outside your comfort zone, I would suggest, and if you don't want to do it, you can always do something like this, which I've used before, which is actually one of my mentors' ads. We call this a blind ad, and a blind means that there's nothing about it. Like, anybody could use this. Like, this is pretty popular for ad co-ops and things like this. At the bottom here, there'd be a website domain. And so anybody who wants to use this ad, they just put their website domain at the bottom, and it goes to a particular funnel where this person's doing the presenting. But this is the type of ad, and this can be used in a full page, half page, quarter page, third page. I mean, it doesn't have to always be the 8.5 by 11 pages. With this type of content, you see it's a very basic layout. It's like 2 colors, and just black ink, yellow background, and a small picture here, which could be used or removed for a smaller ad. So this is also it can be effective, what we call a blind ad, because there is no branding in it. Nobody knows who it's from. Nobody knows who placed it. When you go to the website, you don't know if the website you're going to is the person that is who placed the ad or not. So that's why it can be useful for people who do ad co-ops and anything, or who don't want to put their face out there. But the only thing about this that I sometimes, that can get away from me, is there can be a disconnect. There can be a little bit of a disconnect, because when people respond to an ad like this and they go to a website where somebody's doing the top, they don't know, like I said, sometimes it doesn't flow with them. They don't know where they're at, or if they're looking at the right thing. So when I use one of my ads that looks like this, and then they go to a squeeze page that shows me doing the video, or the system, they're like, oh, this is the guy from the ad, this is the guy in the system. They go through the funnel, and they come out the other side. So that's why I always prefer doing my own branding and my own put my own photos in my ads, to kind of build a rapport with the person, so they see I'm a real guy, a real person with a real family. I do this for a living. This isn't that's why I've always felt that building branding myself, or branding oneself in an ad is good, because that's how I was taught. Like I said, do it is the best way, or the only way, and I know that I'm sure there could be people listening to this right now who have other suggestions or ideas, or have done other things with offline marketing before, and that's cool. I'm just saying that this is what I personally do, and how I've done it to be successful, generate tons of leads on a daily basis, year-round, into whatever I want to promote. The cool thing about this ads is, if I want to change the redirect of the domain in here to whatever I want, I can do it anytime, and I got instant leads going to it. The only thing that would be a negative probably for some folks on here is when you place an ad in any type of publication. You can see, like, they have all the deadlines here. There's tons of different publications you can run into. Is that there's usually going to be a lead time. Like, for example, with Home Business Connections, the deadline's the 8th. Well, that ad is not going to come out till May. So you're going to pay now, and it's going to go out in May. So you got to wait 3-4 weeks, before you see leads come in, and then they're going to want you to pay for the next one by May 8th, before you really see how the results are going to be with your April issue. And for a lot of people, they might not want to do that. They're like, well, they will say, well, I don't know how it did. I don't know how it's going to work. So why would I pay again? I want to, so a lot of times people will wait on the second one. They'll let the month go, and if they got a good response, they'll want to order again the next month. But then they got another 4 week lead time before it goes again. So what I would suggest people do is, like, depending on what your budget is, you don't have to do all the big full page ones like you've seen me doing. You know, I'm just built up to that now because I've been doing this for so long. You can do the smaller ads that go in the back of the magazines that are just, this is how I started too. You know, a lot of people read magazines backwards and forwards, and that for some strange reason, I mean, you know, I find myself doing it too. They will look at these ads first, and these little like 3-inch, 1-inch, 2-inch ads. People will look at these, and you can run one of these for a few $100, and it'll run for 30 days or 60 days, depending on the magazine that you go in. And then you can, so you're not exposed a whole lot there. Then you can see how it goes, and you can run it again the next time. So I would suggest if you're going to do this, you know, be able to do it for like 2 months consecutive, or at least 2 pay cycles consecutively to test it. You know, one thing I've seen a lot of people do, they'll run one ad, they don't get the results they want, and they say, geez, this sucks, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then they quit, and they go on to trying something else. Well, you know, whenever I do any offline marketing, I need to give it a run for, you know, like 30, usually like 2 months at a time, depending on if I'm doing week by week advertising, like I've done in some small penny saver papers before where they bill you a week at a time. I'll do that for a month. You know, with bigger publications like this, I'll run for at least 2 months at a time before I make a determination if the lead source sucks, or if, you know, if it's not going to convert. And it also depends on like what you're promoting too, which we can get into that in a little bit. But you know, these ads work. I mean, I've seen, like this guy here, I don't know who this guy is. I've seen him in the back of the magazine ads for 6 years. Whatever he's promoting, it must work, and he does it all the time back here. And there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of ads back here that are constantly back here, and they wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. You know, I've seen this ad for years too. I don't really know what these are, and I don't go check them out. But you know, these guys have been back here forever, and these work. You know, sometimes people place a combination of these small ones, and then they'll do a full page one too. But the small ones work because, you know, if you're on a budget and you only have a couple $100 to work with, this is where you'd want to start. But you know, with this resource here with Randy Wolf at Wolf Enterprises here, which is, again, this is Wolf Enterprise, Wolf like the animal, just like wolfenterprises.net. You go here, you could select from all the ad packages that, you know, display ads or classified ads, the different publications. Like I said, he'll do the ad design for you. He'll do this for you, so you don't have to worry about providing graphics and all that. He'll do that for you, which is cool. That's part of his fee, so that eliminates one of the worries that a lot of people have about ad copy. You know, he'll do that for you, and then give it a run for a couple months. I mean, that's one thing that that you have to do. You can't just try something one time and if you don't get the results you want, say, oh, geez, that was awful, and quit. I mean, you know, I would never recommend that. That's why I'm saying if you want to try this, you know, you don't have to do the big full page ones like I do. You guys, you know, like I've been sharing with you here. I've just worked up to this, you know, and these do convert well. I mean, obviously I get a ton of leads from them on a daily basis and a monthly basis. But I started small. You know, I started small because I didn't have a big budget to work with either. Like I said, the program that in the business I originally promoted back when I first actually started making money I could live off of and pay my bills off with, I started doing an ad that was this size. Unfortunately, I don't have the copy to share with you guys because that was so long ago, and I tried for like a half hour to find it, but I couldn't. You know, so this is what I do to generate the traffic that I get to any of my businesses that I promote. And like I said, this is the ad that I was showing you guys earlier, which is what I specifically use to get people into my funnel for Empower Network, is this ad right here. You notice, I mean, it's the same layout as I showed you my other one, very similar, but I just hit up on the fact that what I'm providing them is doesn't cost any money, you know, and it gives them a way to make money for free, and they build a trust with me because I showed them how to make money without spending any money, and then I showed them how they can turn that into a residual income and grow it into bigger things with Empower Network, and that's just what I've done, and it's just grown and grown. Even like Dave said, when we had those issues with merchant providers, you know, all that stuff that happened a couple months ago, I never saw any dip in anything, you know, for me. So I constantly send leads through placing ads like this, and it's automated for me. It's nice. I don't have to babysit it every day. I don't have to go out and post things on a daily basis or monitor the stuff. Or I place the ad, let leads come in automatically. They go through my funnel. They go into my autoresponder. They get automatic follow-up messages that keeps this business and also Empower in front of them on a daily, you know, on whenever they receive the messages, and then they sign up. You know, I mean, it's not everybody does a course, but I have enough lead flow coming in that I get the people who do sign up ends up being a significant amount of income for me, and So anybody who, I teach people how to do this too. I show people ask me, how do you do what you do? And just like we're doing on this webinar today, and this is how I do it. It's probably not going to be for everybody, just like Dave said, but it is very effective for me, and it is a very effective marketing method. It just depends on if you're willing to do, what it takes to see some results with it. First of all, which is spending the money to place the ads, like, with Wolf here or any other broker you want to, and then waiting. You're going to wait a few weeks before you see the ad come out. Then you're going to, once it comes out, it's going to take you a few weeks to see what kind of results you're going to get with it. And so some people aren't going to want to do that. That's completely fine. This is the way I've been doing it now. But the thing is, though, once you get in the cycle, then you never have a lag time. Like after you place your first 2 ads, and then there's time to redo the third one, you have the results from the first ad, so you want to rerun it. And now it's like, for example, I paid for an ad. I paid for 2 ads this month. That one of them won't come out till May, the other one won't come out till June. But I don't really care, because the ads I paid for in March and February are coming out this month and next month. So I have constant lead flow. Once you get in a cycle, then you don't experience that lag time, but you just have to get started doing it first to kind of kill that lag time, and then see the lead flow constantly come in. So let's see here. What else can I cover? Okay. Also, too, now there's a bunch of different magazines you can run in. It depends on what you want to promote here. For my free low-cost program, Home Business Connection is really good. Home Business Advertiser, Network Marketing Business Journals, like a newspaper. That's a pretty good one too. USA Today can be. I haven't really run an ad in there in a long time. I wouldn't really say I'd recommend that, because I personally don't do it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I wouldn't tell you. I just don't feel comfortable recommending something to people that I don't personally do or have done myself for a while. But most of these publications you see here are going to be effective for you depending on what you're marketing. Something within like Empower, where it's a low-cost entry, would be good. And then Dave do such a good job inside that upselling people to get all in, and then that they take over from there. But people getting them there first through this type of marketing is gonna be very effective for you. Let's see, Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So great stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. By the way, I can see just from that why we lost a bunch of money in our co-op. I've got enough information to go make $100,000 extra a year now just from this. So, but some other people won't be seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so can we go back, and what I want to do is I want to ask some questions that are real specific.
Sure.
And then hold on. I want to grab I don't have a pen here. I need to be writing some stuff down too. My pens aren't working. Yeah, good enough. Okay, go back to your ads here real quick. Okay, and you covered some of this. I actually walked out for a couple of minutes, but I just want to go over a couple of things with everybody on here now. Real quick, like an ad like this, full page. You probably have this running in all kinds of magazines. How much will you spend on something like this for running a full page magazine ad for a month in all the magazines that you run?
Here's the cool part. Like, it can be as cheap as like $600 for a month, and it depends on the publication. Like, it's going to range between $600 up to like a little over $2,000 typically. Now, that's because of the brokers that I work with, which is the same people I'm sharing here. But if you go to these magazines directly, and their rate card will say they're like $10,000 or $11,000 for a full page. That's why a lot of people, they see that and they're like, holy crap! I mean, I'm not going to be able to pay for that. But that's those prices are not. I mean, I pay like a fifth or a sixth of that, and so that's why another reason I'm able to help people duplicate this type of marketing too, because first of all, I think it's going to cost them an arm and a leg, and it really doesn't. I mean, I guess if you were going to place a full page ad in something like Time Magazine or something crazy like that, yeah, you'd be spending crazy money. But for these home-based business magazines, they circulate nationally, and but it's not going to cost you $10,000 to do an ad. You can do it for $500-$600, and then you don't even have to do a full page. You can take the same type of ad copy, and you can make it a half page, a quarter page, and that's going to cut the price down even more. So, to me, it's affordable for anybody at any price point. I mean, they can spend at least $100 or $200 and then go from there. But again, keep in mind, it's going to get you like 30 days or 60 days of leads, depending on the publication you go in, because some of them cycle every 60 days and some of them are every 30 days. So it can be as $500 to $600 up to a couple grand, depending on the publication you go in. And the ones that are more expensive typically have bigger circulations, but like we had talked about with HBC, like Home Business Connection magazine, with the experience you had in there, the co-ops and stuff. I mean, I actually think they're a great source for something like this ad you see here. that I get tons of leads from this in that publication. So just like that's but there are other ones you can go on, Home Business Advertiser, Home Business Magazine. There's a ton of other publications you can place these ads in.
Okay, I gotcha. So you're posting these in a lot of magazines. You can get them pretty low prices by going through lead brokers rather than going directly to the magazine. So that's a savings there. So if you spend like on an ad like this, what's your cost per lead usually?
Oh man, you know what? I'd have to break that down.
Do you know?
That's a good question. I wasn't prepared for that one.
It's a little different. I mean, some businesses like with us, you can have a higher cost per lead, but I mean, it's interesting to know about. Do you know the range, like $3 to $5, $5 to $10, $1 to $3? I mean, what's typical for you?
I wouldn't even say it's the cost is actually lower than that, Dave. I would say because some days, like my average, I'm going to tell you, like this exact ad I placed cost me in a particular magazine cost me $1,750 for this full page ad. I will average between I've had some days where I'll get over 100 opt-ins a day from this, but the average, that's like on a spike when the magazine first drops on the shelves and a lot of people check it out, but the average on a consistent daily basis will be from like 15 to 25 like opt-ins per day from one ad.
Okay, so you're getting,
I guess I'd have to.
So you're getting like $1 to $2 to $3 leads from this then?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. That's why I do this. I mean, because it's the cost per lead is cheap, and it'll generate leads for me for 30 to 60 days at a time.
Okay, I gotcha.
The thing that people don't like is they have to wait. Like they don't want to, they don't want to wait. It's like funny. They rather waste money on something now to make themselves feel good, like they're doing something, rather than when I tell them spend some money here, you're going to wait a little bit, but it works. That's just kind of the way. It's just that's been my experience. Because I teach people on when people work with me on anything I do this. We're talking now. I'm doing this webinar. And I do this with them one-on-one. Tell them here's my resources. Here's my brokers. Here's what you can place and what you do. And sometimes they just don't do it because they're like, well, I don't want to wait or. I mean, but this is how I've been doing it for over 6 years, and it seems kind of old school now that everything's mobile and internet and everything, but this still works, and it works well.
Well, I guarantee you most internet people aren't getting that many leads, so it's really, really, really useful. That's a really low cost per lead for something like this too, by the way. So this is worth, to me, this is worth $100,000, this call.
No,
it is. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, you're cheating. So let's break down the formula here of this ad, because I noticed all your ads are the same, and I know you talked about this, but there's a lot of people that don't understand headlines, don't understand placement, and why you have all this stuff that you've got, because I noticed that you just put the same stuff in every single one of your ads. And so we start up here.
Basically,
Oh, go on. Sorry.
Oh, is that you're basically correct. I mean, I keep the format the same. It was my, it's kind of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. For me, I mean, if I see and it's funny too, because this ad here is pretty much the same as this one here. The only thing that's different is the picture. I mean, I had this picture up for a long time, and then I decided to change it to one with more of my family and just a little updated picture of myself there, and now it's funny, little things like this can get conversion, can change the amount of conversion. So if you start getting a lag in response, you just make a couple tweaks and it's like it's all new again, or it's basically be the same content like you see, but just in a different layout. I mean, it's the same. You see I do like a quote up at the top, a little bit about myself in the middle, what it's not here towards the bottom, and then below here will be the call to act, like run, don't walk, go to this website. Like I said, I cut that out of the scan there, but that's how I keep the format pretty much the same. And I also integrate mobile stuff, which I cut out of this too, but I put some mobile marketing in these ads. I'll say text, I'll put text whatever short code to, or you text something to da 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 da, and I can build a mobile opt-in list. I've done that for a little while too.
Now, out of curiosity, what's had the best call to actions? Texting, going to a website and getting them to opt in.
I thought texting, when I first put texting up there, I thought it was going to be texting for sure. Sorry guys if you hear my dog, he's stupid, he barks at everything. So this is what I get for working out of my house, I guess. The texting I thought was going to be killer as far as the call, but it was about the same. Because I know everybody's got mobile phones and it's like 94% of text messages get open, which is crazy. That to me, that kills like email marketing, just right there. I mean, it dominates that for sure. But so it was like building a second list of mobile opt-ins, but a lot of the people were the same. I was finding, when they opt in on my website, they were also opting in on my mobile list, and so some of them they were the same there. So the amount of actual fresh people outside of the email opt-ins wasn't as much as I was thinking, but it's definitely still effective. I still do that. I still have my mobile account, to build my opt-in list through text messages. And then it's nice because there you can, whenever you want to run a special, like we were doing with the 15K formula, and send out a text blast, buy this package before midnight or that gets people going. That's another way to reach out to people. Like I said, more people open their text messages, it seems like, than they open their emails. And I can build that list doing offline marketing just like this tip.
But by the way, did you listen to that? I just put an interview up in the Inner Circle just yesterday where Simon Stepsis goes over. He actually had a $4,500 day the other day. He did it almost entirely through text messaging. Did you listen to that?
Wow.
Yeah, you got to go listen to that interview. It's really. I'm gonna have him come on here too and do one of these because he does a lot of direct mail and text messaging and stuff. He does it with an iPhone. He doesn't even have a big old spam machine. So, anyways,
that's crazy.
That's a future 15K formula webinar. How I did that. So okay, so the huh?
Yeah.
Go on.
I would say they could tie. I mean, that could tie into this. I mean, placing a short code on the ad saying text, empower to blah blah blah. I mean that could integrate. I mean, that's just one way to add that to another type of marketing method, I think. So, but yeah, that's why I did it too.
So the formula that we go over, we have a sub headline, okay, that's an attention grabbing headline that's income based, okay, what people are struggling. I can see this because it's saying, beat the recession. Everybody's in a recession right now. I went from $40,000 a year, which sucks. That's a horrible amount of money for anyone to make. I mean, people think they want to make $40,000 a year, and after you make like $40,000 in a month, you're like, God, how did I eat? But then you got
it's ridiculous,
isn't it? Yeah. You spoil yourself. But then you got $39,000 a month, just by using a simple turnkey system that anybody can duplicate. Buzzwords, right? This is simple turnkey system. Everyone wants a simple turnkey system. Everybody wants to be able to duplicate it. And then you can make $200 to $500 a day or more with this opportunity, which is 100% free to join. When I say free, I mean, because everybody's thinking, how much does it cost? You're saying no startup, no website, no admin, no hidden fees, free website system included, 0 out-of-system POCs, 100% free. I mean, I can see why people would respond to this. So you're just using this as an opt-in carrot. You put them into a funnel, and then you're upselling them to the opportunities that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, when they opt into this, it actually is something free that they actually make money with, but it's just like one-off income. Like it's not a biz op, it's not an MLM. There's no structure but that way, but it allows them to actually, without getting too much into detail on that, but this funnel actually allows them to make money.
Yeah.
And they trust me because I showed them how to do this without having to spend anything out of their pocket. Then as the last part, the bonus, I present them with Empower Network, and it's only $25 to get in to start with. That's all I need. I mean, because that's such an easy transition, to get them in for free. They make a little bit of money. They come into Empower. It's only $25 to start out with. But then you guys, Dave and Dave, with all the stuff you guys have done for us, like it takes them up to the 100, the 500, now the 1,000. I mean, it's just, and that's how I've been doing it ever since I came aboard in November. And it's just month after month. Even like when we're having those issues and stuff, my income stayed very consistent with it. So it was, and then like last month it freaking doubled, which was awesome. So.
No, that's cool. No, I saw it. It'll double again here coming up here in the next month with some of the stuff we're doing. So let's talk about a few things that I'm interested in. Just wondering if you've tried, and then we're going to get into some of these questions over at the side of the webinar. And we've got a couple of good ones and a couple of kind of redundant ones from people who showed up late. So, but we'll cover some of them anyways. Have you ever tried? I'm just wondering. Aaron Rashkin just gave a strategy here in the Facebook group just the other day, which something I've actually never even thought of, where he has, rather than having an opt-in form, he has a free report, and all you have to do is send an email, to your Aweber list. Have you ever tried something like that on one of these ads? I'm just curious.
No, I've never tried that. It doesn't mean that I I mean, it's I've
Just
never. I
wonder.
guess my honest answer is no. I've never done that before. It's always been go to a squeeze page and opt in and go from there. You know, that's how I've always to capture that. That's how I've always done that.
Okay, just wondering what you've tried. What have you tried that hasn't worked, that's done bad?
A lot of the, like I was saying earlier, those blind ads. I've also tried. If do I still have the screen here, Dave? I'll show you
Yeah,
one
you
I
still
tried.
have the
It
screen.
didn't work very
You
well.
got the screen for the whole time. So yeah, show me one that was horrible.
Okay, can you see this here?
It's coming up still. Taking it. It takes a second.
Okay.
Usually. Okay. Yeah. I
Let
see.
me know when you. Okay, this is called a coupon ad. Now, this is all deactivated, so all these URLs don't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything anymore because this is old. But this is another one of those ads that I tried that was a blind ad. It's a coupon ad that you might, where they read this. First of all, there's so much crap here to read. That's, to me, there's too much stuff. I mean, too much to go through, I think. And then, people clip this coupon thing out and they send it in. They order something. It's usually like a little starter package, and then you mail them back a second upsell, and it's just, this didn't work. This didn't work very well for me at all. But it's hard to say if it was the ad or what we were selling or whatever we were doing. But that did not work well for me. Using the other this blind ad, for me, I don't prefer to use these type of things. Like
This
if you can
didn't
see
work
this
well?
yellow one here. Well, like I said, sometimes there's a disconnect. It depends on what it's going to. I didn't. The results I had with this, I just say, were not as good as the ones where I ran myself. I guess is the way to put it. I always prefer to use the more personalized ads because when people contact me, they're like, "Well, you just seem like a normal, regular guy. I can relate to that, and I thought I'd give you a call." And, I mean, that's just how That's what a lot of people see when they see those ads. I mean, this is like, a lot of money, a Bentley car key. I mean, it's like some people think it's out of reach. It's like winning the lottery. They're not going to do it. I don't know. It's just, but I've always just been more grounded and been more, shown myself and my family and let people know I'm a real guy. And that seems to be what converts best for me. Like I said, it's what's for me. I mean, I am open to like trying other things and doing other things. I always try stuff. Like I said, I tried the other things and some of them didn't work, but in the past, it's always been best for me branding myself like this is what seems to work well for me.
Well, what's been the best call to actions that you've used at the bottom of the ads? I notice you always put the website at the bottom of the ad. That's consistent across all the stuff that you have where you have working ads. So what's been the best call to action? I saw one of them. It was don't walk, run to your computer and put your email address into this website. Is that your best, or have you played with that headline while done testing?
No, usually the best call to action, something like that is fine. It creates a sense of urgency. Also, a lot of the things I do will give away people if something for free, or if they take action by, we put a deadline on it, fear of loss type thing. If they take action by midnight, they'll get X amount of bonuses or something like that. Whether it's some ebooks or extra upgrade or something like that. That's a lot of what we end up doing. Or like what I've used before. That type of call to action works best as long people feel like there's a reason why they need to respond now rather than wait till tomorrow. That's what we create that sense of urgency, so they'll go to the website. And once they get there, like I said, I don't try to sell people in the ad. I don't. I make a habit of like not doing that. I mean, because some people do too much in their ads, and it just like so I just keep them straightforward. Don't try to sell them on the ad. Give them enough to hopefully pique their interest to get to the site, and then let the site do it from there. That's where the funnel comes into place. This is just to get them there, and then the funnel will take over once we get them there.
Well,
and that's how I do it with everything I've ever done is that way.
Well, this is fascinating because this is the same mistake people make on their websites where they try to sell on their websites, and the website really should just be there to capture the lead, and then the funnel sells. And so it's the same thing that works on a website.
Yeah, people make like 10-minute videos on their capture page. It's like, what? Nobody's gonna, I mean, make it like a minute, 2 tops. It's like same thing. This same thing. I don't try to do too much in the ad. I just pique their interest, get them to the site, and then let the site and the funnel and this take over from there. That's how I like to. That's how I do it. That's how I try to teach people how to do it too.
And by the way, I want to point something out here that a lot of people wouldn't notice because they're new. But notice everybody here on the webinar. It's really useful taking a look. And I'm getting a lot of value from this, by the way, because this is the same thing I do on the internet. But notice he doesn't have company names, logos, In fact, you could look at this ad, everybody on here, just pay attention to this. You could look at this ad and not know what it is, right? You have to go to the website to find out what it is. You can't, I mean, if somebody was going to be really clever, they could look up Charles Marshall on the internet, and they probably wouldn't find too much, honestly. They might find a bunch, they might find a blog or whatever it is that you're doing, Chuck. But he calls himself Chuck Marshall, and he uses a testimonial from Charles Marshall. I mean, you could look at this. You have absolutely no idea what it was. There's no way to find out what it is unless you go to the site and put in your email, I'm guessing. And with a lot of people on the internet, they make a mistake where on their capture pages, on their blogs, on their websites, they do the same thing. They have everything all over the place, and you know what it is just by looking at it. If you know what it is just by looking at it, you're not going to go put your email in, and you're not going to be able to follow up with the customer. So that's just a valuable point that I noticed just staring at this here. And I mean, I would respond to this. I'd be curious.
Well, yeah, that's a good point you brought up too, Dave. Which is one thing I forgot to mention is that, you don't let's say this ad went to something that everybody knows, like Amway or something. If I said Amway in the ad, people would probably be like, oh, whatever, I've seen that, not interested. But if they if they see this ad and they go to my website and it goes to Amway, at least I had a crack at them without, at least that way I got a crack at them, and I got a shot at them. But with the ad, giving away again, that goes back to giving away too much in the ad. People give away too much in the ad. When they do postcard, or any direct mail, they give away too much in the ad copy there. So I keep it simple, and again, like you said, this isn't company specific. There's no logos, because what if something happened with the company I have this, or the opportunity or the program or the product I'm trying to promote through this advertisement. Something happens over there, this ad's going to be out for 30 to 60 days. I can't, the domain name's already in the ad. I can't change it. So if I have to link the domain at the bottom and redirect it somewhere else, if something happens with the primary program I was promoting or a product I was trying to sell through this ad, it allows me the ability to do that. I can redirect the traffic somewhere else if I have to, and it's like instant leads turned on that second I do it. So that's another reason why I do that, is because if something happens or something changes or something comes up or whatever happens with whatever this program or product or system I have this ad pointing towards at the time, if something happens there, I need to be able to redirect it to something else. So all this ad time and the money I spent placing this ad doesn't go to waste. So that's another reason why I do that way too, which is a good point. I forgot to mention that, but since you brought that up, that is why I do it that way too. Then also to the mystery part of it, if they don't know what it is exactly, then they go to the website. That way we get a chance at them that way, instead of giving it away in the ad, and they make make assumptions or say, "Oh, I've seen this before. I've done that before. This isn't what I want." They don't even visit the site. But if they don't know what it is and they visit the site, we get a chance that way, at least to have them look at our stuff and go through the funnel.
No, it's always better if they don't know what it is when they opt in, because you just get way more. That's why people usually, and this is a tidbit for everybody here on the call who does their own capture pages. We have our capture pages convert high, but a lot of times people put all this trash on a capture page, and it just ruins the conversions. It just ruins it. They put logos all over. They put text all over. They put 18 testimonials on it, and the goal is to get people to put in their email, not tell them what it is and sell it. So this is great, and a couple things that I want to point out on this, just from my perspective and looking at this through the eyes of a marketer. What do you know from this ad? This is the question to ask yourself: is who's this ad targeting, and what do you know? Number one, I know that a guy made $242,940 last year working from home, and he quit that because it was too much work. And I'm thinking, I'm not making that much money, and shoot, I'm working too hard too, right? And now you see he's going to earn twice that much this year, and it's easier. And I also know it's a system. I also know that I don't have to do any of the things that I hate doing, which is selling, explaining, answering questions, prospecting, and getting rejected, right? Those are all the things I don't like doing. And then he's got a testimonial, and it doesn't matter that the testimonial is by the guy who placed the ad, right? This looks like it's a generic ad. Who knows who placed it? And here's a testimonial of the guy using this system. It doesn't even have to be you. It could be It doesn't have to be you. It could be anybody in here. And then it says discover the brand new. And everybody wants to be in something new. Everybody wants to be in something innovative. Everybody wants to make hands-free money. Everybody wants a system, right? And everybody wants money. And so everything that I want and nothing I hate is in this ad. And so that's the psychology behind a good ad. You don't know what it is, you can't look it up on the internet, and you're basically screwed, and you're going to miss out if you don't go and put your email in right now. Right? So this is, You guys see the psychology? Hey, if this is helping you guys, by the way, if you just tell yes if this is helping you over in the comments, I just want to get some feedback from everybody on here. This is helping you guys, and then I'm going to go back and I want to go through a couple of the questions that we've had some really good good questions. Hey, what's your daily lead flow look like, man? I'm just curious at your current level of this. What's your lead flow look like? And I want to ask you some conversion questions after we go over a couple of these questions. But what's your daily lead flow look like?
You mean, well, for like Empower or for everything?
No,
or?
just total. I'm just curious.
Oh, well, like I was typically, with Empower and my big ticket stuff and everything, I probably I would probably average like, 50 or more, like a day with everything. I mean, and some days it spikes up to a lot more. Like I said, when usually fresh editions of magazines drop or get mailed, I get big spikes in opt-ins and leads that but then it like levels out. So I think like yesterday with Empower alone, I had like 33, 34 fresh opt-ins through there, and that was just with Empower. I think today I have to check. I have to go on my Aweber actually, Dave. I haven't actually done that yet today. So
well, check it. Here, pull up your. Will you pull up your Aweber? I'm just curious. I just like to see this. I like proof. You know what I mean? People see this, and too many people they teach things without being able to prove it. So get my little question out of the way here.
See here. Can you guys all? Is it pulling up for you? Can you see it?
Yeah. I'm actually curious what your open rates and stuff are. So I want to look at this just from a marketer perspective. This is really useful for me to see.
Okay, so let me know when you guys can see this stuff. Some of these lists are all pretty much inactive here. These are so today. 42 so far today. It's like 12. It's about 1 o'clock for me. 36 yesterday. See, a lot of these lists are inactive here, but yeah, this is pretty consistent. Like, and when I drop new ads, and I'll get big spikes in these ones too. So
that's a beautiful cost per lead, by the way. Here, scroll down to the broadcast. Do you mind if I look at some of your numbers down here, in your open rates and things like this?
I have to pull up different lists so you can see the different broadcasts here. I have some really killer.
You segment your list. We should do another webinar on that sometime. So okay. So
see, like some people, I got a little bit of hate for this one, but I got a huge amount of opens.
Well, the ones that get a lot of opens always get the most hate, so it's
Yeah, I mean, like this subject lines too. My person who mentors me is really good at getting subject lines that open. I'm gonna see if I can show you guys while we're here. Let's see if I can show you what.
So I see you participating in the promo right there, price quadrupling. Now those, by the way, those are really good open rates compared to most marketers on the internet. So people with new lists think that that's low because they're still getting 30%, but somebody who's been marketing for a while, this is a really good open rate, 11%, 13, 17. So they're responsive. That's the key. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And these are all magazines. This is all print media.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do any other type of marketing. Like when I send an email out to my list of opt-ins, I mean, I guess that's one way, but that doesn't create new leads. I mean, that just kind of sends out updates and stuff like to who's there. Like I said, I participated in usually a lot of the swipe copy I'll send out, and I'll use also my Empower lead, broadcaster too. So that doesn't really show here, but but yeah, This is real. I mean, I guess halfway through the day here, and I'm sure I'll get a lot more before the day's over too. So, but yeah, this is just real time right now. I'm happy to share it with everybody.
No, great. Okay, so let's go into some of the questions here, and then I have some more questions for you just on conversions and things like that. But let's look through, and I'm just digging through this here. Somebody asked, did Wolf Enterprise design that ad for you?
No, Randy Wolf did not. As a different broker that I work with named Dan Jacobs. He has a source that he gets it done for me, and usually when I place the full page ads, it's included in the price. But typically, when you do a full page ad copy like that, it can be a little bit more money. Like they'll charge like $200, $300 to design it, but then it's yours forever, and you can use it over and over again, whatever you want, as many different magazines as you want. But Wolf didn't do that full page ad copy for me. I've used Wolf for all my like liner and classified ads because that comes with it. I've never seen him do a full page ad for me. It's always been through the other broker I use named Dan Jacobson. It's DAJ Direct and he's also a big lead broker too for people who are into buying leads and doing direct mail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to comment, and that's a great answer, by the way. Just so everybody knows, if you want to get an ad like that designed, I would recommend you guys write your own copy. And unless you have somebody that writes good, do you write your own copy? By the way, I'm curious. Or do you have somebody
Typically, yeah. I'll write the words out, and then I'll say I want this to be here and this there, and here's a picture I want there, and then they'll make up a few different mock-ups for me, and I'll say, okay, I like this, but I like copy A, but take something from copy B and put it on copy A and take this out. So they give me a couple different mashups, and then I kind of mix it around the way I want, and then they submit it to me. They have to get my final approval, final proof, and everything before they'll run it. So that way I make sure there's no mess ups or no whatever, everything's good. But yeah, they'll do the artwork for me. I just come up with the ad copy. And you notice throughout the past 6.5 years, it hasn't really changed much. The format stays the same.
Yeah. No,
so
it's an easy format. I mean, I could do that in Photoshop in an hour. Just so everybody knows here, though. I mean, here's the reality too. I want everybody to think about this here for a second. With things like that, that's actually the easy part. If you guys go to, you could go to CrowdSpring 99 Designs. You could crowdsource this, have 50 people working on it, and get one of these designed for a few $100. It's the easy part. So if you write I recommend though, guys, everybody on here, look at the copy, write your own copy, because most people who know how to design can't copyright worth garbage. And so they write stuff that just doesn't convert because it looks pretty, So you write it, outsource the design, and probably the best way. Would you agree with that, Chuck? I'm just kind of talking from my experience.
And if anybody likes any of what I provided in ad copy, feel free to use that as a template or something. That's what I'm hoping that will be helpful to you as well, is that you can see like what I've done and what works for me, and if you guys want to get some ideas from that and use it as a template, or feel free to do so. That's what I was hoping that you guys would want to do if it would help you.
Yeah, guys, don't copy it exactly. Use it as a template. If you,
well,
can you please don't, guys. Please respect that. This stuff is somebody's unique work. Don't copy it exactly. Take the template and make your own ad with your own story or somebody else's story. Grab a testimonial from one of the leaders. Grab pictures from one of the leaders. If you don't have a great story, and use that. Don't copy his exact stuff. It's rude. So,
well, I don't think the publisher would let an exact copy go in.
Yeah, it'd be like replace Chuck Marshall with Homer Simpson or whatever, right? And just copy it. No, not cool, guys. So write your own stuff. Be creative. It's like 5 lines, right? And just try it. Put some energy out there in the marketplace, and it could go to 99 Designs. CrowdSpring does beautiful designs. For relatively inexpensive, you could come up with something great. They're a crowdsourcing site. You just put a job up, run a competition for a week. You'll have 80 people compete for the best design. Throw a few of your photos in there, and you've got a winner. This is great stuff. I wanted to comment on one of these questions, okay? And that's John Van Buskirk. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, so I apologize there. He says, so this is expensive to do. John, expensive is relative. So it would be expensive to do if you didn't make money from it. Expensive in direct marketing is not how much it costs, it's how much you profit. So if you spend $1,000 and you make $2,000, is that expensive? Well, no, it's free, right? It's free to do if the ad converts. So it's expensive to do if you waste a bunch of money on stuff that doesn't make you money. If you spend money and it makes money, it's not expensive to do. It's free, right? So it's the marketing is one of the only ways you can take $1 and turn it into 10 when you know what you're doing. So it's not expensive at all. If it might be outside your current budget, but then you start with another strategy, then you have a goal of working up to something like this. Great question here. This is from Denise. She said, what should the ads claim if you have not made money or you're new? What do you say?
So you got to be careful with that. Some people use the whole fake it till you make it thing, and I don't recommend that, especially like depending on where you live and FTC guidelines and all that kind of stuff, So when people do that, then you want to take the stance of, you can make up to or earn up to or something, so you're not saying I made this much. And if you notice here, like if I go back to my ads here, I'm talking about what I did. This isn't saying that you're going to do it too. It's not saying you're going to make this if you do what I say. It's saying this is what I did using this system, and I invite people to come check it out too. You got to be careful with claims and things like that. And like I said, it doesn't. If you haven't made a whole lot of money yet or any, that's fine. You can just say the potential of it. You know, I mean, like if you were gonna market power, it's been, well, Dave, you know, it's been very well documented. And, you know, like there's people that have made up to 40 grand a month or whatever Chris Jones and Chris Campbell made last month. Or, you know, or any myself or anybody else. You know, people are making up to 40 grand or 20 grand or whatever you want to say with 100% commissions and no selling, no grunt work, no bugging your friends and family and blah blah. You know, that's how I would approach that if I was not in a position to say this is what I've done.
Hey, and can I comment on this, Chuck, just for my perspective?
Sure.
So, guys, if you don't have a testimonial, here's the simple answer: find a leader in the Empower Network, get their permission. Okay, don't do this without their permission. But I guarantee you, if somebody asked me, they said, David, can you give me a testimonial that I can put in a print ad? I'll write you out a little paragraph that you can use, and use a person who's made money. Use Chuck, right? Say, Chuck, can I use a testimonial? Would you be okay if people plastered your name on their ad? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah, because all they're saying is what I've done.
Exactly. You just need a story.
That's verifiable.
See,
there's 100% verifiable proof behind that.
Look at this ad, for example, folks. Do you know that this is Chuck Marshall's ad, or do you just see a testimonial from Chuck Marshall? I mean, can you tell the difference? No, there's no difference. And so if you don't have a testimonial, here's the great thing about direct response. It doesn't matter if you have a story. Use somebody else's story and use theirs until you've got your own story that you want to use. And you might even get a better response using theirs. I mean, Tracy Walker's got a story. Aaron Rashkin's got a story. I've got a story. Chris Darty's got a story. You know, Chuck Marshall's got a story. I mean, Chris and Chris have a story. I mean, there's an infinite amount of money-making stories that you could do. Lawrence Tam's story. I mean, how an engineer part-time made, you know, $49,000 his first 30 days, you know, with a no selling, no phone work, you know, automated internet system. I mean, you guys see what I mean? You don't need a story. That's the beauty of copywriting, is it doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be the face of it. You can just get the money. And a quick question for you. I mean, obviously, you'd want a simple link. You wouldn't want to be using, like, for example, almost a secret.php $ID for the link at the bottom, because that's confusing. But so you could use a simple link. Would the Empower Network capture page convert well? We've got three of them, right? Would it convert fairly well just running directly into that capture page from one of these ads? If the ad copy matched it, what do you think? I'm actually curious.
Okay, so say that again, David. You were thinking if.
Oh yeah, I'm cutting out a little bit. Would the Empower, if somebody's asking, you know, so you're because you've been doing this for a long time, much before you're in Empower Network, you've got all your own capture pages and stuff. But the Empower Network capture pages alone, right? Those would convert fine if the ad copy matched the page, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so. Like, because with my own funnel that I use for for, you know, to get people into Empower Network, all it does is link to the standard. Even I've still used the red one you came out with back in the beginning.
So you're linking to the red capture page from these ads, and it's working fine.
Well, not directly. It doesn't go from this ad directly to the Empower. It goes through my funnel first, and then the back end upsell just links them into the standard red, almost a secret capture page with the warning stick. You know, the warning tape across the top, you know, and then the opt-in form in the middle. That's still, I haven't even used any of the other three yet. It's always that same one seems to be working just fine. Like, and those leads you guys saw, the opt-ins you saw into Aweber just a minute ago, that's from that page. I just have my Aweber integrated into the form there. That's it. You know, so I use that. I still use that myself. Okay, great.
And you do. When you capture leads, do you capture name, phone number, and email, or do you just capture email? What do you do?
Typically I seem to get more responses with just name and email. I think it's like, isn't it like the less fields, the more you're going to get?
Well, most people will see almost a double, and this is useful too, by the way, just for your marketing. Most people will almost double the opt-ins from just requesting email on the front end. It's almost double.
Yeah,
in my experiments.
The more you ask for, I think the less you're going to get. Like, usually, if the maximum I'll ever do is name, email, phone. Usually it's just name, email, because I'm not really going to pick up I'm not going to pick up the phone and like cold call people. But you know, I mean, if they call, because I make myself available all throughout the presentations and all the autoresponder emails. People have my number. If they want to call me and they have questions, they can do so. You know, but I don't make a whole lot of, like, I don't pound the phones for 10 hours a day making outbound calls to people. You know, so really I would just, the maximum I'd ever do is name, email, phone, but most of the time it's just name and email, and that's pretty much it.
Well, I want to give everybody here a hint that's going to help everybody out. And this will double you guys' income if you listen, and a lot of people aren't going to listen. Don't call leads, call customers, and call people who were almost a customer, all right? If you really want to make a lot of money, none of the leaders that I know who really make a lot of money call leads ever. They all call, what they do is they focus on leads on the front end. They focus on getting somebody into a product that they pay for, and then they call their customers and upsell their customers. You will absolutely triple your income if you focus on increasing the leads on the front, increasing your process to increase customer conversions, and then you connect with your customers, not your leads, and your customers will buy 10 times more stuff if you connect to them. Does that make sense to everybody on the call? Type yes if that. You agree with that, Chuck? Just from a
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or if they call you. I mean, Rob Ford, I was talking to Rob Ford the other day. You know, he just came out with this little SEO product here, and you know, I said, what do you do? And he says, well, what I do is I focus on leads, and then I answer my phones, and I sell stuff when somebody calls me. They call him, they ask him a question, he sells them something, right? That's a leadership strategy, folks. It's what you want to do if you want to produce big numbers. So, let's what if you want to provide your own ad copy? We answered that. How can you know free? If somebody says, how can you promote free when you know there's a cost? Jake, it's because he has a different funnel. Okay, this is something he's been doing for years, and then he back-ends them into something that costs money. And so the way he does it is it's true. So obviously, guys, if you're selling, like for me, I'm not going to promote something for free even if I get more leads, because I like to sell stuff right immediately. Okay, I might promote low cost to start or something like that. But what you can do if you want to promote free, guys, and it's going to something that sells something. Let me take the. Here, can I take the screen here for a second?
I don't know how to give it back to you.
I'll just steal it. Hold on a second. Let me.
Okay, go ahead.
What you can do is you can do free video. Hold on a second. I'm having a hard time clicking on anything. That's weird. Why is this not working? There we go. Hold on. It's not letting me click. Here, if you right-click on my name and you click Give the Screen to this person, over on the right, it's the top in the organizers. Okay, I'm just going to explain it, guys, and then I'll show you. I'll show you later because my computer ain't working properly. Okay, so how do you promote free when you're selling something that's not free? It's actually a really simple answer. The way that you do it is you promote a free video. Okay, like what I do, I was going to give you an example of a capture page that I've used really successfully that converted at 60%, and I'll show you guys the capture page a little bit later. I actually stole it from Dave Sharp. I did solo ads with it. It converted at 60%, and what the capture page says, it says free video, and then it has a quote on how I did such and such a thing. I never say the product is free because it's not, but what I say is there's a free video, there's a free report, there's a free download, there's a free audio. I give them something for free, and the free thing sells them something that's paid, and that's an honest strategy. So that's an answer to the question, Jake. Well, I want 50 leads a day. Okay, Samuel Levitz. He's a leader here at Empower, makes good money. Asks a great question. If we want 50 leads a day, what budget would you suggest in which magazines?
Let's see here. So you could do 50 leads a day with like, for example, like Home Business. Do I still have the screen, Dave, or did you end up getting it back?
Yes.
Okay, so this one here, like Home Business Connection, this one ranges in price. It's a little more expensive because it comes out every month and it's a direct mail publication. It means that they cost some money to mail it out to their list and everything like that. This one's going to be over $2,000 to place a full page ad in. If you want to do full page, if you want to do some of the smaller ones like I was showing you guys over here, these are the ads that are like a couple hundred. You know, if you have a tighter budget, these are the ads that'll be a couple hundred, or you can do like, you know, like these would be like 6-page ads here. Another full page. I'm just full page. There's like, this is a half page here. Those type of ads will cost you less money. So it depends on what your budget is. I really only can gauge the results off the full page ads because that's what I have. And with HBC alone, like I have had days worth like 140 opt-ins in a day, you know. But to average like 40 to 50, you could do that with just HBC. I mean, or like Home Business Advertisement is a smaller publication. but the list is more concentrated. Like this only mails out to, I think, like, I don't know, 30,000 people maybe, but it's a really concentrated list. But again, I don't, Dave, when we were talking before, is that the readership usually on any of these publications is going to be like 3 times the circulation. So when you guys go to wolfenterprises.net, if you check this out, it'll give you a breakdown of each of the magazines, what the circulation rate is for each one, the costs, the cost per type of ad. He breaks it down in here for you completely, so you can see what you're going to spend, and then but roughly, like HBC, I think would be a good one to go with to get a lot of opt-ins, depending on how you're going to market it. I think it works great, like I did for my funnel and for Empower. I would not market a big ticket program with HBC though, but it works well with. It worked really well with my funnel and also converting up into Empower. So.
Right. Okay. I'm just looking at the questions. Great answer here. Great info. Glad I'm in. Pay $1 and get 5 back. That's the formula, guys. That's marketing. That's how a marketer thinks, folks. Free is not better. Okay. I did a lot of free marketing because I was poor and had no money. Now that I'm looking back, I got into paid ads. It took me about 1.5 years because I was making a lot of money from free stuff. But I look back after I started doing paid stuff, and I'm like, holy smokes, I could have quadrupled my income after about 3 months of doing free stuff to get myself going. So let's see. Check our small classified ads. Yes, this is going to be a webinar in the 15K. I'm just looking at a couple of things. Okay, this is a great question. Actually, I was going to ask this. Can we get any sense of conversion percentages from lead to the Empower Network basic membership?
Well, it's going to depend on if you just shoot them straight from the ad to Empower. I don't do it that way, so I don't know if my answer would be correct. I mean, I send them through my funnel first and then into Empower, so it's kind of hard to. I don't know what it would be like if I just shot them straight into Empower, and I have to, the amount of people I have in my whole Empower team versus the amount of opt-ins like we did on the monthly basis. I mean, I could come up with a conversion number. I guess I haven't done that though. But I don't shoot them straight into Empower. I get them into my free thing first and then funnel them into Empower. So that might convert better, or maybe it doesn't convert as good if I just shot them straight into Empower. I'm not exactly sure because I don't do it that way. I don't send them straight to Empower, the Empower capture page first.
Right. You've got a system.
It doesn't cost a whole lot to test. Like the nice thing about it is like you can test this stuff for not a lot of money, and if it doesn't work right, like if you like, thing is that when you place an ad, like your domain name goes, let's say your domain name in the ad or whatever, goes straight to Empower. Or if you don't think that's converting and you send them somewhere to a different funnel or something, and then into Empower like I do, that you can change that redirect any time you want. You can. Or put it in a rotation. Like if you're familiar with what a rotator is, rotate it one way or the other, and then see what kind of conversions you get the best. For me, since you guys launched, and for me, and I got involved in November, it's always been send them through the funnel first and then into Empower. That's how I've done it.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, and I'm going to answer that too. Then I got a few questions, and we're going to be done with these questions coming through because we've gotten through the best ones. Okay. That are useful for the sake of the webinar. My experience is, guys, it depends on what you do with the leads. And what I found is a good lead is a good lead. And I could tell from the open rates and his responses that these are good leads. So what I'll say is it depends on how you're going to market. You're going to get anywhere from a 8% to a 15% conversions depending on how you use your email and how you use your phone strategies and things like this. It's just a lead. You can learn how to increase lead conversions from any source of lead that is a buyer. So I think that the value in what we just learned was everybody on this call, this is a source where you can get 20, 30, 40, 50 leads a day. All right. You can do it from scratch, and anybody who has money, a little bit of money to play with, can do it. So it's a lot of value. I actually learned a lot in this call. A couple of questions that I've got for you, and then we'll let you go because we've been on here now a little over an hour. This is a great addition to the 15K formula product, guys. By the way, guys, who thought this webinar today was worth at least $1,000 to you over the next year with what you just learned? Who thinks so? I think this is worth Yeah. I did too. I thought this was worth 20. This is worth probably, those of you who know what you're doing, this could be worth $100,000 to you next year. So it really is valuable. Thanks for coming on and be willing to share your experience and your knowledge, Chuck. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see I'm seeing all those come through. It makes me feel good that people like what I had to share.
See, so guys, I mean, just having a bonus like this, guys, from marketers like this, does this, for anybody on this webinar, guys, does this make you, things like this make you feel a little more comfortable selling the 15K formula and taking $1,000 and feeling confident that it's given somebody enough value for that? Okay, so that's the goal, guys. This product, we're going to continue to do things like this to teach you how to get more leads, paid strategies, and the cool thing is here at Empower, guys, is we attract the best marketers in the world. Chuck, I mean, you would have never gotten into the other stuff that I was in. You know what I mean? Just truthfully. I mean, I'm talking to you. I've talked about your conversions, the money you make. I could have never gotten into the stuff that I've been in. But this, we're attracting the Chuck Marshalls. We're attracting the guy who owns the escapeartist.com, who's got 400,000 people on his list. We're attracting, Raven Starr, who just, she's built teams of 90,000 people. Tracy Walker, just incredible marketers. All over. I'm going to miss 800 marketers when I say that because we've got so many good people. Aaron Rashkin. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. So great to have you on board. Is there any conversion tips that you've got for people on closing, upselling, relationship? We did a great Inner Circle call. Everybody here should listen to the Inner Circle call I did here with Chuck. But any conversion strategies you've got, how to sell more stuff, how to get better results with the leads that you get, that you've done for doing this because obviously you've been doing this for a long time.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Inner Circle thing we did the other couple weeks ago or a week ago when that was, because I've been using a little bit of what you shared with me on how you do that. When somebody asks me like, what is it you're doing, and I say, well, do you have the 15K formula package? And they're like, well, no. I was like, well, I will do is like you had taught me that day, and say, well, I'm gonna do is get you that first. It'll teach you how we do that or how I do it, and I also I have my own autoresponder messages, obviously, to go out to kind of keep people interested in it too. And whenever I will have a good month or good week or whatever, I'll shoot a little Camtasia screen recording and put it out and send it out in a video to people. Say, hey, look what Empower's doing, guys. This is it's not something to sleep on. It's not, this is making really good money. And I get a lot of people interested in that way, just with the follow-up of the opt-ins I do give, because like you had just said, it's like what you do with the people, the opt-ins you get is going to help determine like the kind of conversions you get. So I just keep the business and my progress and stuff in front of them, and in front of the prospects I have, and then they end up converting. Like, I mean, because getting them in for the 25 is easy, but like I said, Dave, you guys do such an awesome job with all this stuff, getting people to upgrade into the Inner Circle and 15K and Costa Rica and stuff. That, like, I feel like you guys do that for me. I just get them in there, and your guys' system is what really converts them for me. And so yeah, but part of what I do, I'll keep my progress out in front of people, like I said, because the way I do market myself, as you guys have seen here, is I do brand myself. So when I put a video out, say, hey guys, this is Chuck, and here's my results with Empower, just what it's been like, and I'll show them a little screenshot or a screen share of my back office and showing that, and or whatever, just so they can see how I've been doing with it, and that motivates people too, because they're like, wow, this isn't just some like $25 thing, I mean, like, it's a big business. I mean, it's like this Empower was a big chunk of my income for March, so it's like, and it's, so I mean, I share that with people, and that gets people excited, and they motivated, and those people who are prospects, and they act and they become members, and they sign up, and we help them do the same. I get a lot of pass-ups too, because my teammates will duplicate, so.
Well, no,
that's how
absolutely you will, and no, you're doing a great job, by the way. And I think by the way, everybody go listen to that audio interview that we did together here. It was what was it, a couple weeks back before we started this promotion. I told him this. I told you. I think it was in the audio interview. This is really valuable. I think you were at about $9,000. And you said that you said in the I don't know if this was in the interview or after we stopped recording. It might have been in an interview. And I told you in that audio, I said, I think your income's going to go over $20,000 this month. And you're like, well, I think it'd be 15. And it went over $20,000 here in the next couple of weeks. And I'm telling you something, man, that income you keep doing what you're doing with the growth metrics that we're going to have with the $1,000 sale. We've got a sales video that's going up for that today. I just recorded. Everybody loves it. I'll shoot you over a link if you want to see that. It'll be, when somebody clicks on the 15K tab, we'll have a sales video there a little bit later today. With the $1,000, the goal is to get 1 in 5 members to pay $1,000 who comes in. That'll triple the income, and then once we hit the growth metrics here in a couple months, it'll triple it again. So it's great to have your value, your leadership here. And would you be willing to shoot me over some pictures of some of these print ads, and we could put it in the manual that's getting read up for the 15K formula, just as an example? We'll put in there, don't copy this exactly, but just as an example. Would that be okay?
Yeah. Yeah, they're just scanned in JPEGs, or I can, if you want, I'll just shoot you all the ones that I've got here, and you can decide which ones you want to put up there or whatever. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, great. Well, we'll get those in the manual, guys. That manual is almost finished, just so everybody here knows. And then just so also everybody, next week, I believe it's either the next or the week after, we're going to have another bonus webinar for 15K Formula members. And this one is going to be actually a little bit of an interesting subject. You'll like this as well, Chuck. It'll be right up your alley, but it's on how to get guaranteed leads. So everybody here wants more leads, and we're going to show you how to get them guaranteed from another guy who also makes good money here with Empower. I'm going to hit him up and see about the times and try to get a little bit more advanced notice now. But we're going to keep doing those, keep getting the value out there, and keep bringing the best paid strategies. And I really want to turn the 15K formula into a lead gen paid strategy, advanced tactics on what's working now. So that's kind of what the direction of this is going to go. So again, appreciate you, Chuck. Thanks for coming on and sharing just selflessly. I should have paid you some money for this or something. So I feel like I'm cheating. So hey,
Dave,
you go on.
I say with what you guys have done, what you guys are doing, and I'm more than happy to do this. I feel like I said, I want to contribute what I can back into it, because what you guys are doing is awesome, and I'm already making a lot of money with it. So I'm more than happy to share. Some people like to hide what they're doing or whatever. I'm more than happy to share, because to me, I've never run out of people looking to make extra money. Never run out of people looking to make money from homes, and the more we help and share, the more we all grow together. So I've never had a problem doing that at all. So
all right, well, cool, man. Cool. Well, awesome. Well, guys, hey, thanks for coming on, everybody on the webinar. Give Chuck a big thanks in the Facebook group. Make a fuss about how much he shared and how awesome it was to, of course, get everybody who's not in the product to upgrade. And I've got the recording. This recording should be up in the 15K formula. Probably take 3 or 4 hours. I'll need to render it and upload it, and we'll have that up there tonight. And then I'll shoot an email out to the rest of the database, letting them know that we've got this back here. So share with people what your thoughts are, folks. Thanks for coming on. And guys, what's the goal this month? The goal this month, folks, we want to help at least 30 people in Empower Network hit 30,000 this month. How are we going to do that? By selling this product, because it's $1,000 commission, and with what he just showed you, I could show you how to take a 40 or 50 lead a day and turn it into $1,500, $2,000 a day. So that's what we're going to do here over the course of next month. Focus on the assignments in the Facebook group. Put some print ads out. Give it a try. Give it a whirl. Be willing to wait a little bit for the results on this, because it's more of a time-based strategy. And like always, let's lock arms, fight the forces of evil. Thanks again, Chuck. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected.